Welcome to the Up the Planters podcast, episode 6. I'm the Norwich United press officer, Joe Norton, and I'm here with a returning hero in Liam Jackson. In his previous spell, Liam scored over 100 goals in 4 years at the club. He spent a year away at Leicester, but is now back as a Norwich United player. How does it feel to be back at Norwich United, Liam?
Can't lie, I haven't stopped smiling since I signed the deal the other day. I'm absolutely delighted, over the moon to be back with the boys, back with Steve. Just can't wait to get back to enjoy my football again, to be honest. I think that's important for me. Last year, I don't think anybody enjoyed their football with the pandemic and all that kind of stuff, bit stop-starty. But in particular, I didn't have the most enjoyable year of football, but I'm just looking forward to getting to June, getting back into pre-season with the boys. And hopefully we've got a season to remember by the end of it, hopefully.
Absolutely. Well, as you've touched on there, a full season would be lovely, and it's been...
Well, that'd be a good start, won't it? So that'd be improvement on last year from the start.
Absolutely. You're kind of being short of offers, given your goal-scoring record. So what was it that made you want to return to Norwich United, and was it a difficult decision?
Well, yeah, like you say, I was really lucky, actually, that I've had a good probably 8 to 10 offers from other clubs, which is obviously nice. It sort of shows that you're still wanted by clubs, which is obviously nice. As soon as kind of Steve got in contact and Andy got in contact as well, I wouldn't say it was straight away an easy decision, but instantly you're thinking, right, I need to sit down with these guys and hear what they got to say. Obviously, with Steve being back at the club, he wouldn't be back unless he thought he's going to get challenged for the promotion. And obviously I was there under Steve before, where everything's done so professionally, so thoroughly. And it is obviously I've been playing step 3, it's ran like a step 3 club. So in terms of that aspect, that was nice and quick, nice and easy, quick chat. And then obviously bearing in mind a lot of the boys that I left a year ago are still there. Likes of Apples, Watto. Obviously, Wonesy's now back at the club as well. And then when Steve kind of put the plan forward in terms of who they're trying to bring in, and bearing in mind that Norwich United weren't even far off last season, they were unbeaten after obviously losing our front 3 the season before. That kind of shows that obviously with a couple of signings, we're not far off already, really. So yeah, big part of it for me is that obviously going back to step 5. Enjoyment's not number 1, but it's up there. Got to really get back to enjoy my football, which I know I will do. I don't even need to think about that at Norwich United. And 2 is joining a club who, 1, I feel loved and appreciated at, but also one that's kind of looking to step up to that step 4, step 3 kind of thing. And there's no reason why, I know speaking a couple of years ahead, but there's no reason why Norwich United can't be a step 3 club. Obviously, we want to be a step 4 club by next season anyway. First season I was at the club, we went far off the playoffs in step 4, so it can obviously be done. That was under Steve, so it's quite an easy decision. Yeah.
Excellent. Yeah. Okay. And it'll be new working with Andy as assistant manager, but obviously you know him as captain previously, and I think Martin Meek even was at the club in previous spells and things. So,
yeah.
So it's familiar ground there. It's obviously difficult if you're going to take a plunge with a manager you haven't played with before. But it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, it just makes it a lot easier because I know what my expectations are in a manager. I want the manager just to be truthful, tell me things how they are. Obviously, you get to learn their standards, that kind of stuff. With Steve, he's very black and white with what he wants, and I know that obviously I fit under that remit because I've done it before. So it's kind of hopefully be quite a seamless return. Really, should hopefully. We've only played a few months of last season. It's almost like I haven't been away anyway, to be honest.
Yeah.
So it's nice and easy.
Excellent. Okay, so you did have we'll say a season in terms of time away at Leicester.
Yeah.
But I think, was it 8 goals in 12 games? Was that about?
Yeah.
You got about 12 games in.
Yeah.
Well, 8 games in 12 was a very good return, especially at step 3. Was it a good experience on the whole?
Yeah, definitely, 100%. I think it was definitely a worthwhile experience, regardless of. I talk about enjoyment. That isn't necessarily because I didn't enjoy being a Leicester player, because I did. and you never know what like paths cross in the future. So that's not something where I'm going, oh yeah, I hate Leiston, this and that, because I don't at all. There's a lot of good, like I put a tweet out, there's lots of good people at Leiston. You know, Chris Wigger signed me. Like I'll still carry. I know I'll stay in contact with Wiggs. North's great bloke there, coach Dave Williams, great bloke. I can't name what the chairman was fantastic to me. But it's just a thing of I just felt quite frustrated. Like you say, 8 and 12 is a really good record, like at any level really. And I feel like I'd put in a good 8 or 9 out of 10, score a couple of goals, and I wouldn't be in the team for like 3 weeks. That's just frustrating because I've always, wherever I've been previously, obviously Norwich United, I know I was at North Walsham for a little bit, but mainly Norwich United, if you're putting in performances, you keep the shirt kind of thing. And that it almost felt like I could have come off the bench and scored 6 and I'd still be on the bench the following game. You get what I mean? So it's a little bit frustrating. And then you've got to take into account the travel to away games when you're not playing. The travel wasn't an issue, but when you're not playing, you start, you know, long days for no minutes. So yeah, so I've sort of come to the decision at the end of the season that's probably best to probably move on. Yeah.
From someone who watched you play pretty regularly when you were under Cedric at Planters,
Yeah.
do you think you've improved or changed as a player in the last year?
I feel like if you move teams, you've got to be adaptable to what that manager wants. In terms of being at Leiston, I had to adapt to what Chris wanted. Whereas with Norwich United, I kind of know the standards already. So I feel like I'm not a different player, no. I feel like maybe certain things I've improved on because I've had to improve them. Like maybe a couple of examples. I feel like goal scoring wise will never be a problem with me. I feel like I'll score goals wherever I go, hopefully, fingers crossed. But obviously the percentages are lower at that level. So you maybe get 1 chance a game or 2 chances a game. One has to go in, whereas playing step 5 before, I was lucky, obviously, we're quite an attacking team, getting loads of chances or whatever. So you could kind of, not that I would purposely, but you could miss a chance and know chances are you'll probably get another chance in the game. And also the whole back to goal, hold up side of the game is something I feel like I've improved on quite a bit. At Norwich United, I was obviously it's only like a year ago, but still quite raw in some ways with my back to goal. And obviously I'm not built like Watto, so I need to think of ways to use my physicality a little bit better, which I think I have done in this last year. So hopefully I'll come back, and I feel like the word is I feel like I'm quite effective now with the way I hold the ball up and bring others into play and all that kind of stuff. Whereas before I think it was a bit hit and miss my back to goal stuff. So yeah.
Okay, that was interesting. Could you kind of going back now, really? Could you kind of talk us through your footballing journey, if you like? Like,
Yeah.
When did you start playing football? You know, and your club's going through to Norwich United. Really?
Yeah. So, God, it seems like ages ago. So, I think I was probably 4 or 5 when I joined Cromer, like local team, just kicking about stuff. Stayed at Cromer for a few years. Played a year up though. That was kind of mum and dad pushing me into playing football. And then went from there to East Coast Warriors, which is like Sheringham basically. Played under whatever's then. Then on to North Walsham, which after being at Eastern and up, so I was like Norwich PDC, all that kind of stuff when you're younger. North Walsham was the first men's club I joined. And I didn't really, to be honest, want to play men's football. I remember going to a game and thinking, oh my God, that's so physical. Like I'm going to get broken. I'm going to get my leg broken or whatever. Yeah. And yeah, I saw the manager at Wroxham game actually, the North Walsham manager, and he was like, right, we want to sign you. We'll sign you to the end of the season. I think they were struggling. There's about 10 games left, and I ended up scoring 13 and 10, thinking, oh, this is all right. Played for a full season the year after that, and scored 50 something in about 30 something games. And then obviously at the end of that season was when I signed for Norwich United. I got a message off somebody after the last game of that season saying, yeah, Steve Eastoe is interested in signing you. And at that point I was already sort of not speaking to, but heard murmurs about Wroxham. So with them both being step 4 at the time, that was kind of a 50-50 50-50 thing. And then like with what's happened now, really, I sat down with Steve. I remember me, Dad, and Steve. We met for a coffee somewhere in Elsham, and literally as soon as I left that conversation, I knew I wanted to be a Norwich United player. Just the way Steve sold his way of doing things, everything like that. Yeah, and in the first season, like I say, we were step 4 finished, or probably 7th or 8th, something like that. Just missed out on the playoffs. Really good season. I'd say obviously North Walsham, I was there for a year and a bit, but that was my first proper men's football. That was obviously at a good level. And that kind of stuff. Learned so much from Steve. Other senior players like Stephen Shipley, obviously Andy Stowe, all those type of lads. And then following season we got relegated, which not that I was, obviously everyone's a guilty party, but not that I felt overly guilty. But that's part of the reason why I've come back as well, to feel like I want to be one of the ones that gets us back there, because I was part of it that took us down, if that makes sense. Yeah, played quite a bit that second season. The first season I was a little bit in and out of the team. Obviously I was only 17, so it's expected. Yeah. And then obviously we went down, had 2 seasons in furlough none, scored plenty of goals. But yeah, even the aim there was obviously to take us up. And that season under Cedric, the second season, his full season, I thought that we were probably, with the momentum, we were probably going to be there or thereabouts. But unfortunately, that was quite short, wasn't it? So, and then obviously the year at Leicester, most recently. So yeah.
Yeah, that was some run of form.
That's what I mean. I was honestly convinced. I was convinced we were gonna at least finish in that top 2 or 3. So we would have been there or thereabouts. I remember the last game against Mildenhall, where we won 2-1 away from home, and in the change room after the game, we were there's big celebrations. I think we thought that was a big night that night. Obviously away from home, there, hard place to go. I really felt like there was something happening, and then literally about a day later, that was nah, season's finished. So it's so weird, into lockdown. But yeah.
And just going back to, you said you were quite anxious or not wanting to get into men's football, worried about being battered from pillar to post. Was that the case? Or
no, it wasn't actually, to be fair. There was a few players in that league when I was at North Walsham that were a bit, I don't know how to put it, a bit dodgy with some of their tackling. I don't think, because obviously I was 16, 17 at the time, so I don't think older blokes want a little, 17-year-old going around them or scoring goals or whatever. So as soon as I had my first 5 minutes in the game, they probably worked out I was all right. They kind of stuck a few on me, but that's to be expected at any level. We'll play teams this season that have got good players, and probably Steve will say, yeah, leave one on them, because that's just how football is, isn't it? It's just tactics these days, isn't it? So, so nothing out of order or anything like that, no. But I think playing that standard, and when it is a little bit more, not a little bit more physical, but that is a little bit dirtier, I think that kind of toughens you up a little bit. And that was probably looking back, a really important year in my football development, playing that season. It was good to obviously get goals at an adult level consistently, obviously the physicality side, and just being in a team where that is their what the boys look forward to in the week. Before, I sort of took football for granted, but then you realise these guys are they're working all week, so they get the weekends off to play this football. It means a lot to these guys, doesn't it? So yeah, it made me appreciate that a little bit more as well.
Okay, great. Do you have a favourite goal you've scored or a favourite match you've played in?
Definitely a favourite match, yeah, 100%. Favourite match is when we beat Canvey 4-3. I scored all 4. Hippo set me up all 4. He was awesome that day. But yeah, I scored all 4, and then got the Bostic Player of the Month as well. And yeah, I don't know what was happening in that game. That was just, everything was going in for me, literally. I think I've had 4 chances that day, scored 4. In terms of favourite goal, that's a difficult one. I'll get slated for the boys, because I do score a lot of penalties. But favourite goal, not sure, to be fair. There's been quite a few over the years. Maybe, to be fair, probably the last one before I left against Mildenhall. That's quite a good finish. Come to the edge of the box, sort of chested up and then volleyed it top corner. But I only enjoyed that goal so much because the celebrations when I scored that goal were like ridiculous. Like it was wet, we were all knee sliding into the corner, and like I said, the momentum at that point was crazy. So that was almost like every goal we scored was massive. So yeah, so probably those two.
Excellent. Okay. One of my favourite tweets I've seen recently was my hero, my mate, Sam Applegate.
Oh no, yeah.
What does Sam Applegate mean to you, and what does he bring to Norwich United?
So, in terms of Norwich United, the guy is just a legend. To be fair, he's just such a great character, great bloke, so funny, and like that's before you even talk about the football side of it. Like he's still. Every time I've ever played with him, he's always one of them that's consistent 6, 7 out of 10 every game, like minimum. Seen him score some absolute worldies. A goal away at Stowmarket. Now I'm mentioning it. He'll love that I've mentioned that. The goal away at Stowmarket where he's dinked it over the keeper. That's probably one of my favourite moments being a planter. To be fair, before in terms of me, I get on with him so well, as I do all the boys, which is why it's such an easy move for me to come back. But Apples is just a unique character, and I can't wait to be chasing his bad balls into the channel again. To be honest.
Excellent stuff. Yeah, he's certainly a fan favourite from our perspective.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Okay. So I think Norwich United, by the time this goes out, will have announced the signing of Kyle Richardson.
Yeah.
He's coming in he's also been playing for Leicester last season.
Yeah.
I believe Kyle's a left-sided central midfielder.
Yeah.
What kind of player is he? What do you think he'll bring to the Norwich United team? Can you tell us a little bit about what Kyle will bring?
Well, yeah. Firstly, he's a great player. Just all round, like he's obviously been in like academy football and was at Grimsby and stuff like that. So he's technically so sound. In terms of what will bring Norwich United, you say he's a left-sided centre midfielder, but he can play in the holding midfield, centre mid, box to box, number 10. So he's quite versatile in terms of where in centre mid he can play. He'll bring don't think I've ever seen that guy give the ball away. Literally, he just keeps the ball. He's so composed, so calm on the ball, which is good because when you've got players in there that are really physical, like Apples and stuff like that, and they obviously their job's so important, and Wonesy's obviously really good physically and stuff like that. Then you need players like Kyle to kind of, especially in difficult games, to get the ball and go, all right, guys, just let's settle down for a minute. Let's keep the ball for 5. And he's just perfect at that. If he's playing 10, he's so good at slipping those little balls through. I think he's similar in terms of, I don't think he got a fair shot at Leicester. He'd play a game. There was a game near the end of my spell there where he's literally put a 9.5 out of 10 game in there, and he's literally not then played the following week. But less said about that, the better. But yeah, he's a good player, and he's a top lad as well. He's one of my best mates. He's a quality guy, both on and off the pitch. So he should bring a lot in terms of the dressing room and also on the pitch. Yeah, it should be a great signing. Really good.
Excellent.
That was part of the reason when I spoke to Steve and he was talking about players he wanted to get in and this, that, and the other. When he mentioned Kyle, that made me sort of sit up and think, well, he's taking this seriously. Like, hopefully, me and Kyle come over and a couple of others, and we've got a right chance this year. Yeah.
Great stuff. So, alongside signing yourself and Kyle Richardson, as we've just been discussing, Planters have also been busy on the staffing side and have recruited a technical director, Toby Nickerson. Have you met Toby before? And are you looking forward to having a technical director join the staff?
Yeah, no, I'm not really too sure what kind of his job will entail, to be fair. Do you know?
I think generally it's kind of trying to link up all aspects of the technical side. So
that's what I thought. Yeah,
in the first team, integrating that and scouting and so on.
Well, that's what I mean. Even just that in itself, that's quite a professional vacancy to have, isn't it? And like that just shows kind of where Steve wants to take the club, I think, just off that alone. But I met Toby the other night when I had a couple of photos done at Plantation Park. Seems like a really nice bloke. mean, him and Steve were talking about some of the plans then, which obviously I can't go into too much detail about, but sound really good. Weirdly enough, actually, I did recognise Toby from when I used to work for CSF. I sort of said, "You were at CSF," and he was like, "Yeah." So I think I've probably worked with him without working with him, if that makes sense. Same company kind of thing. But yeah, seems like a great bloke. Yeah.
Excellent. So just a couple more questions, and we'll let you get off. But what do you think Norwich United's targets for this season should be? And do you have any personal targets for the season?
I mean, that's an easy one. We've got to be aiming to get promoted. So that has to be the aim. I even with pro football, I hate this thing of, oh yeah, well, we don't set targets because this and this. That's just a cop out. We need to be like aiming to get promoted this season. And like I said, Steve being there, I know what he's like as a person, as a manager. He wouldn't be here if he didn't believe that was possible or that was going to be the case. So I have to definitely, but we've got to earn it. That ain't like that's just coming. We've got to earn it, but we've got to be aiming to get promoted. Hopefully, a good run in the Senior Cup. That was one of the highlights of my first spell at Norwich United. That was awesome, winning the Senior Cup, Carrow Road. Hopefully that'll be back to normal next year as well, where it's actually at Carrow Road, the final, with fans and that kind of stuff. I think another big one is the bars. You see how far Stowmarket and Wroxham got in the bars. Like, that shows that. I was watching on BT Sport the other day, the final, and like that would just be unbelievable to get there. Obviously, Yenny played there for Wroxham before, so it's possible. Teams around here have done well in it before, so why can't we? And obviously, there's League Cups. I think we've got to be thinking. Obviously, Steve's the manager. We can't prioritise anything now. I think we've got to be thinking, right, we want to do well across the board, and that's a big part of, like I say, why I've joined is because I believe in the players that are already here, players that are coming in, the management, all this kind of stuff. Everybody around the club, everyone who does the social media, everything. It's all there to make it happen. But it's now about getting results on the pitch and making it happen this year. So yeah.
Absolutely. And personal targets for yourself, goal scoring targets.
Targets, yeah. I mean, I'd like to just as like a minimum. I'd like to hit 25 to 30 goals in all comps this season. Like, I feel like I should be hitting that now. I mean, anything more. I mean, I was on 34 before, obviously lockdown. So I was hoping to get kind of 40, 45 in that season. So we were like third, weren't we? A third or fourth. So if we are right up there, hopefully I'll get chances. Some of the players coming in will be able to create me chances. So yeah, sort of around that. But just my main target is to kind of like is a team type. Really, let's get us up, and then let's kind of reevaluate in the summer, and let's have a good shot at step 4 if we get there. Yeah,
absolutely.
Simple as that, really. Like if we do well as a team, like my personal targets, like goals and all that kind of stuff, that will happen because it will have to happen for us to kind of be up there. So really, they come hand in hand, I think.
Excellent. And if you can enjoy it more along the way, then all the better.
There you go. Exactly. Definitely.
All right. Well, delighted to hear you're back at Norwich United, Liam. Looking forward to seeing you banging them in at Plantation Park in a couple of months' time.
Thank you very much. Cheers, chat.
All right. Thanks a lot, Liam.
Thank you.